Well, hello, YouTube world. And yes, it's time to celebrate. It is my birthday, and I'm enjoying it immensely and figuring out how to learn and be okay with celebrating yourself is going to be sort of the focus of the talk. But before that, my name is Lucas Burton. I work as a personal development coach and was a mental health and addictions therapist for 21, almost 22 years now. Um, well, before I started doing this. And so I put out these videos. Hopefully you enjoy them and they bring some sort of information that's useful to you. Um, Please like and subscribe. It helps me out immensely. All right. Wow. So what am I talking about? How to celebrate yourself. Well, when you think about it, we're very good at waiting for others to celebrate us. And maybe that's not the case for you. Maybe you're really good already at celebrating yourself, celebrating your victories, celebrating the things that you're working on, and keeping yourself the focus of things. Now, it may sound very um, selfish, but I know in my past, I've around birthdays, it'd be like, well, no one's doing this for me, and no one's doing that, and I finally figured out like if I'm expecting people to do these things for me, yet I don't do them for myself, right? And what I mean is that if I'm not celebrating who I am, making changes in my life, doing the things that are good for me, keeping myself in my frame, how can I expect others to do that? But I did, I would be like, well, it's my birthday, and yeah, okay, and him and hawing, or, hey, Luke, you did well. Oh, okay, well, thanks. And so what I'm getting at is that what I notice, even working with my clients, is that the idea that we're supposed to celebrate ourselves almost seems foreign in a little way. And what I mean by foreign is that it's not something where that I've seen that we're encouraged to do that much, right? I mean, I'm not talking about walking around going, I'm amazing, I'm so good at everything, and you're terrible and I'm the best. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about taking a long, hard look at yourself and celebrating the fact of who you are, the things that you've been through, the accomplishments that you've had, the struggles you've had, and really seeing those as part of your growth. Because if we don't see some of those things as our growth, then how do we see them? Right? It was an accident. It was a failure. I tried that small business and it didn't work. Okay, but what about, well, I tried that small business, I put my foot forward, and some of the things that went sideways are on this. So if I make some changes here, the next time, or continue, right, making those changes. You have to notice them, right? That's all part of who you are. Right? It's sort of, you're integrating all those aspects of yourself so that you can actually see a truer, more accurate, shouldn't say truer, more accurate version of yourself. Right? And is it easy to do? No, absolutely not. It's going to feel weird. I talked a little bit the other day about, the devil is easier than the devil you don't. So the behavior the automatic thoughts that come up are easier to access than these new ideas coming forward. Does that make sense? So it's easier to access the old than it is to access new stories, new narratives, new behaviors. And when you access those new behaviors, new stories, new narratives, they feel a bit uncomfortable. It doesn't feel normal. It doesn't, Luke, you want me to celebrate my successes? It just feels weird. Just feel, why? Well, it feels weird because you don't do it. Right? You don't actually celebrate who you are. Right? You don't enjoy that. You don't make it a priority. Right? Like if you put as much effort into celebrating yourselves as maybe you celebrate other people? And when you are celebrating other people, are you genuinely celebrating those people? Or are you celebrating them in the hopes of getting something, right? And that's where that attached outcome comes in. But if you're celebrating who you are, your core values, the things you've messed up on, and I just use that language, maybe it's not the best language to use, messed up or made mistakes. If you're not integrating all those aspects, then you're leaving pieces behind. But the more, and it doesn't mean like you go, yeah, I messed up. It's so great. I went bankrupt. That's not what I'm talking about. It is celebrating like, you know, I struggled with this, had some financial difficulties, and now this is where I'm at. Right? I'm moving forward or moving ahead with this. Because the more that you incorporate that, when something else goes not what you think is the right plan, you know, it's easier to incorporate those things, those struggles that you've had. Like, yeah, I did go bankrupt once, and this is what I've learned from that. So now I put this in place so that doesn't happen again, or trying to prevent that from happening. But celebrating yourself, there's nothing wrong with that. Because if you can't celebrate yourself, think about it. This is how I think about it. If I can't celebrate who I am and the things I'm passionate about and just keep trying and keep going and keep moving, how can I expect anyone else in my life to do that, to celebrate me? Right? They're just going to magically see all these great things about me and just like, you know, bring that forward. What do you think's easier? Like if you're actually talking about the things that are good about you, you know, and sharing those things and talking about why you like to celebrate those things. And people hear that and they feel that. They're drawn to that, right? They're attracted to that. And then when they get to know you and they're like, yeah, let's do this for this person. Let's do that. You know, and that's easier for them to get in touch with than it is with someone who's feeling really miserable. Right? I'm another year older. No one cares. No one did this. No one did that. Or I'm crushing it. And I'm 50 years old today and I'm crushing it. Right? I mean, not everything's in place the way I want things, but they're moving. They're moving towards that direction. What's easier to get behind? Because the more you do that for yourself, the less you expect it from others. There's nothing wrong with getting that validation from people. But if you're expecting it and it doesn't come, you're tied up in an outcome that didn't happen, where you can make that outcome happen yourself. And we can often get confused about that, right? We can be like, well, they're supposed to support me. Why? Why are they supposed? You're supposed to support, we are supposed to support ourselves. Right? When we're expecting from others, we're not willing to do for ourselves. Now think about that. You're expecting something from someone else that you're not willing to do. The more you do it, the more you celebrate yourself, celebrate your victories, celebrate your struggles and what you've learned from them, and share those things. Right? The easier that stuff becomes. Anyways, hopefully that was helpful about figuring out how to celebrate yourself, who you are, the things that you're passionate about, and not being ashamed to, or not, I shouldn't use ashamed, not being afraid to share that, right? Anyways, take care, keep crushing your goals, and like and subscribe. It helps out the channel a ton, and we'll see you in the next one. All right, take care, everybody.